welcome to This is Thailand. I'm your host, and today's story is about a question that matters more than most foreigners realize when they come here. What type of foreigner are you? Because Thai women, the ones looking for real partners, not just income, they can spot the bad ones from a mile away. The angry drunks, the sex tourists, the broke guys pretending they've got money, the abusers. Most of us know to avoid being those men. But there's another type of bad foreigner that's harder to see, the kind man, the generous man, the lonely man who just wants to help. And this is the story of how a good person can become the wrong type of foreigner without even realizing it. His name is Clyde, 65 years old, retired bus driver from West Virginia, came to Thailand after his wife died, looking for community, looking to matter to someone again. He had a decent amount saved up, a pension, a kind heart. He thought his small-town instincts would protect him. He thought he could tell the difference between someone who genuinely needed help and someone running a scam. What happened next changed everything. This one's going to stick with you, because it's not about bar girls or obvious cons. It's about how loneliness makes you vulnerable in ways you don't recognize until it's too late. Here's his story, in his own words. My name's Clyde, and I drove a school bus for 38 years. Route 7, outside Huntington, West Virginia. Same roads, same hills. Same kids year after year. Well, not the same kids exactly, but you know what I mean. Jimmy's little brother, then Jimmy's little sister. Then eventually Jimmy's own kids climbing on the bus. I knew every pothole, every sharp curve coming down through the hollers, every stop where I'd wait an extra 30 seconds because the Henderson girl was always running late. Linda used to wait for me on the porch. Every single day, 4015 on the dot, I'd pull into our driveway and there she'd be with 2 glasses of sweet tea. We'd been together since high school. 42 years married. Simple life, nothing fancy, but it was ours. Evenings we'd watch Wheel of Fortune, argue about what to make for dinner, talk about the kids. Our son moved to Phoenix for some tech job I never quite understood. Daughter's down in Charlotte with her own family now. Good kids. Love them to death. But they got busy with their own lives. You know how it is. Tuesday in June, I came home and Linda wasn't on the porch. Found her in the tomato garden, collapsed between the rows. Heart attack. She was 62 years old. No warning, no chest pains that morning, nothing. Just gone. The paramedics came, but we all knew. I knew the second I saw her lying there in the dirt. The funeral was nice, I guess. Neighbors brought casseroles, people said kind things, told me to call if I needed anything. Then everybody went back to their lives, and I was alone in that house. Her coffee mug was still in the cabinet, her reading glasses on the nightstand. The garden she'd never finished weeding. Every room was full of her, and I couldn't stand it, but I also couldn't leave because where would I even go? Kids called less and less. Not their fault. What do you say to your dad who just sits around being sad all the time? They had their own problems, their own families. Can't expect them to hold my hand forever. Neighbors meant well, but people get uncomfortable around grief. They don't know what to say, so they start avoiding you. I started spending evenings on YouTube. Don't even remember how it started, just clicking from one video to another. Retirement in Mexico, retirement in the Philippines. Then Thailand popped up. Cost of living videos, expat vlogs, guys talking about living on $1,000 a month, warm weather, friendly people. My nephew caught me watching one day and got all excited, sent me more channels to check out, said I should seriously think about it. I started doing the math. The house was worth about $185,000, paid off years ago. I had my pension, $1,400 a month, plus some savings. Not rich, but comfortable. In West Virginia, that money just barely kept things going. But in Thailand, according to these videos, I could live really well. Have money left over even. And the weather, no more winters, no more scraping ice off the windshield, no more joints aching from the cold. But really, if I'm being honest, it wasn't about the money or the weather. It was about not being in that house anymore, not walking past the garden every day, not sitting in the living room where we used to watch TV together, not waking up every morning and remembering all over again that she was gone. I called my son first. He was worried, asked if I was sure. If I'd really thought it through, maybe I should wait a year before making big decisions. I told him I'd been thinking about nothing else for months. Then I called my daughter. She cried, asked if I was running away. Maybe I was. I don't know. I just knew I couldn't stay. Selling the house was harder than I expected. Watching strangers walk through, pointing at things, talking about knocking down walls and redoing the kitchen Linda had picked out. But I signed the papers. After closing costs and settling a few bills, I had $165,000 in my bank account. More money than I'd ever had at one time in my life. I bought a one-way ticket to Bangkok. My daughter drove me to the airport, hugged me for a long time, made me promise to call every week. My son sent a text saying he loved me and to be careful. Standing in the airport with my one big suitcase, I kept thinking this was crazy. 65 years old, moving to a country I'd never been to, where I didn't speak the language, didn't know anybody. What was I doing? But I also thought about going back to that empty house, and I knew I couldn't. So I got on the plane. I figured Thailand would give me something to do, some reason to get up in the morning. Maybe I could help people somehow, be useful again like I'd been driving that bus all those years. Make some friends, build some kind of community. The videos made it sound possible, made it sound like people cared about each other there, looked out for their neighbors. I wanted to matter to somebody again. That's really what it came down to. I wanted to feel like I belonged somewhere, like my life still had some purpose beyond just waiting around to die in West Virginia. So yeah, that's how a 65-year-old bus driver from Huntington ended up on a plane to Thailand with everything he owned stuffed in one suitcase and $165,000 that was supposed to last him the rest of his life. Spoiler alert, it didn't work out quite like the YouTube videos said it would. The heat hit me like opening an oven door. I mean, I knew Thailand was tropical, I'd watched the videos, but knowing something and feeling it are two different things. Walking out of that Bangkok airport into the humidity, my shirt was stuck to my back in about 30 seconds. And the noise. The traffic, people shouting, horns honking, music blaring from somewhere. West Virginia gets quiet at night. This place never stopped. I got in line for a taxi and immediately got lost trying to explain where my hotel was. The driver didn't speak much English. I was showing him my phone. He's nodding, but I could tell he didn't really understand. We drove for what felt like an hour through traffic that made no sense to me. Motorcycles weaving between cars, people crossing the street wherever they felt like it, signs and squiggly letters I couldn't read. Finally pulled up to a hotel that might have been the right one. I paid him 600 baht because I had no idea what was fair, and he seemed happy enough. First night I sat in that hotel room with the air conditioning blasting, jet lagged out of my mind, asking myself what the hell I'd done. Called my daughter like I promised. Told her everything was fine, the flight was good, the hotel was nice. Didn't mention I'd already gotten lost and probably overpaid for the taxi. Didn't mention I was scared out of my mind. That first week in Bangkok was rough. The city was just too much. Too big, too loud, too expensive, too confusing. I tried to be friendly like I would back home. Strike up conversations with the hotel staff, the taxi drivers, people at restaurants, but the language barrier made everything hard. Most folks were nice enough, but we couldn't really communicate beyond smiles and pointing. I ate at 7-Eleven a lot because I could just point at the little prepared meals in the warmer, and they'd microwave them for me. Pad krapao, they called it. Spicy rice with meat. Burned my mouth the first time, but I got used to it. Cheaper than the Western restaurants anyway. Cup of noodles was like 35 baht, dollar and change. That part matched the videos at least. I tried to do tourist things, went to the Grand Palace, saw the temples, rode the BTS train around. It was impressive and all, but I felt like exactly what I was, a lost old man with a camera around his neck, not someone building a life. I'd watch other foreigners who seemed comfortable, walking around like they knew where they were going, chatting with locals, and I wondered how long it took them to figure everything out. Started researching on my phone at night. Found these Facebook groups for expats in Thailand. Lots of guys complaining about Bangkok being too expensive, too hectic for retirement. Kept seeing recommendations for Chiang Mai. Up north, smaller city, calmer, better expat community, cheaper cost of living. Mountains reminded people of home apparently. I looked at pictures online and thought, yeah, okay, maybe that's more my speed. Booked a flight for 2 days later, AirAsia, $40-some. Figured if I didn't like it I could always move again. At least I was trying. The flight to Chiang Mai was quick, just over an hour. Soon as I got off the plane, I could tell it was different. Still hot, still humid. But the airport was smaller, less chaotic. Got a taxi to the old city area where I'd booked another hotel. Driver was chatty even though I couldn't understand most of what he was saying. Pointed out the mountains, said something about Doi Suthep Temple. Chiang Mai felt manageable. You could see the edges of it. The traffic wasn't as insane. There were trees, actual neighborhoods, instead of just endless concrete and high-rises. The old city had this square moat around it with red brick walls. Kinda charming if I'm being honest. Spent a few days walking around, getting my bearings. Stayed in the Neiman Haman area because the internet said it was good for expats. Lots of coffee shops, restaurants, younger crowd, but not crazy nightlife stuff. I walked up and down the streets looking at apartments for rent. Signs in windows, some in English, some just phone numbers. Found a place on the third day. 1-bedroom apartment, furnished, air conditioning. About a 10-minute walk from the main Niman Road. Month-to-month lease, 12,000 baht. A month, that's like $400. Manager spoke decent English, showed me around, clean enough. Bed, little kitchen, bathroom with a squat toilet and a regular toilet, washing machine. Good water pressure in the shower, he made sure to show me that. I signed the lease right there. Paid first month plus deposit, 24,000 baht total. Got the keys. My first real commitment to staying. Felt good and terrifying at the same time. Bought basic supplies at a Big C supermarket, toilet paper, soap, coffee, some instant noodles. Got lost trying to figure out which 7-Eleven was closest to my apartment. It turned out there were 3 within a 5-minute walk. Thailand has a 7-Eleven on every corner, I swear. Started establishing a routine because that's what I knew how to do. Wake up early, old bus driver habits. Walk around the moat in the mornings before it got too hot. Other people out there too, Thais doing exercises, monks walking for alms, other foreigners jogging. Nobody bothered you, just coexisted. Coffee at different little cafes, trying to figure out which ones I liked. Most places had English menus or at least pictures. I'd sit there with my phone reading about Chiang Mai, what to do, where to eat, trying to learn a few Thai words. Sawasdee crap for hello, Kop kun crap for thank you. My pronunciation was garbage, but people seemed to appreciate me trying. Found this restaurant called Apsara Kitchen, about 2 blocks from my apartment. Family-run place, maybe 6 tables, Thai food, really cheap. 45 baht for a plate of fried rice. 60 baht for pad Thai. The owner was this older Thai lady, friendly, always smiling. Reminded me a little bit of Linda, actually. That same kind of warm presence, making sure everybody was fed and happy. I started eating lunch there most days. The food was way too spicy at first. I'd be sweating through my shirt, chugging water. But the owner saw me struggling and taught me to say, "My pet," not spicy. She'd laugh at how I said it, correct my pronunciation, then bring me a milder version. Still had some kick, but manageable. She didn't speak much English, but we'd communicate with smiles and gestures. She learned I liked the fried rice with chicken, always brought me extra vegetables. Sometimes she'd bring me little samples of other dishes, see if I liked them. Never charged me extra. Just being kind. For the first time since Linda died, I started feeling like maybe this could actually work. The loneliness was still there, don't get me wrong. I'd be sitting in my apartment at night, and it would hit me all over again that I was completely alone in a country on the other side of the world. But it felt less crushing than it had back in West Virginia. At least here, the loneliness had distractions, things to figure out. Small victories like successfully ordering food or finding my way around without getting lost. I'd been in Chiang Mai about 2 weeks when I started feeling settled. Not happy exactly, but functional. Getting up had a purpose. Walk, coffee, lunch at Apsara, explore a temple or market, dinner somewhere cheap, back to the apartment. Simple routine, but it was mine. My bank account still showed $164,000. I was spending maybe $1,200 a month on rent, food, coffee, transport. Right in line with what the videos promised. My pension covered most of it. The savings could last me 20, 30 years if I was careful. I called my kids, told them I was doing good, that Chiang Mai was nice, that they shouldn't worry. My daughter asked if I'd made any friends yet. I lied and said, yeah, a few guys at the coffee shops. Didn't want her to know I was still pretty isolated, still eating alone every meal, still going whole days speaking maybe 20 words total. But I figured that would change eventually. These things took time. I just needed to keep putting myself out there, keep being friendly, keep showing up to the same places until people recognized me. That's how it worked back home. No reason it wouldn't work here. I had no idea everything was about to change. That in about a week I'd meet someone who'd make me feel needed again. Who'd make me feel like I mattered. Who'd also end up costing me more money than I'd spent in my entire life on anything except that house back in Huntington. But I'm getting ahead of myself. For those 2 weeks, I was just a lonely old bus driver trying to figure out Thailand, trying to build something, trying to convince myself I'd made the right choice, leaving everything behind. Turns out I'd made a choice all right, just not the one I thought. I'd been eating at Apsara Kitchen for about 2 weeks when I noticed her. Not the owner lady, but a younger woman working there. Mid-30s maybe, pretty in a natural kind of way. Not dressed up or anything, just the simple uniform they all wore. But she had this easy smile, you know? The kind that reaches the eyes. She came over to take my order one afternoon when the owner was busy. Said her name was Nok, means bird in Thai, she told me, laughing a little. Her English was decent, way better than most people I tried talking to. She could actually hold a conversation. I ordered my usual fried rice, tried to say it in Thai like I'd been practicing. My pet, not spicy. She smiled at my pronunciation but didn't laugh at me, just gently corrected how I was saying it, wrote it down phonetically on a napkin so I could practice. That felt different somehow. Kind. She started calling me Mr. Clyde after I told her my name. Not just Clyde, but Mr. Clyde. Made me feel respected, you know, not like some old sex tourist or whatever. Just a regular person deserving of basic courtesy. The restaurant was usually slow between lunch and dinner, that dead period around 2 or 3 in the afternoon. Nok would bring me my food, and then sometimes she'd sit down for a minute, ask how I was doing, how I was liking Chiang Mai. We started talking, just small stuff at first. Where I was from, how long I'd been in Thailand, what brought me here. I told her about West Virginia, about driving a school bus. She seemed genuinely interested, asked questions about America, what it was like there. I asked about her life. She told me she had a daughter, 9 years old, named Fern. Worked at the restaurant 6 days a week. She was divorced from a Thai guy who drank too much, didn't see their daughter anymore, didn't pay child support. Her mother helped raise Fern while Nok worked. When I mentioned Linda, just briefly, just that I'd lost my wife recently, Knock's whole face changed. Real sympathy there. She put her hand on mine for just a second, said she was sorry. And here's the thing, it felt genuine. Back home after Linda died, people would say they were sorry, but you could see them getting uncomfortable, looking for the exit. Knock just listened. Over the next couple weeks, those afternoon conversations became regular. She'd bring me my lunch, then sit with me if the restaurant wasn't busy. We talked about everything. Her daughter's school, the problems with Thai schools versus American ones, her ex-husband's family, my kids being far away. Normal stuff. Human stuff. What struck me was how normal she seemed. She wasn't dressed provocatively, wasn't working in some bar asking for drinks, had a real day job, real responsibilities, talked constantly about her daughter. This wasn't the Thailand story I'd heard warnings about. Those bar girl scams. This was just two people who'd both had hard times being kind to each other. She showed me photos of Fern on her phone, little girl in a school uniform, pigtails, big smile. Cute kid Knock's face would light up talking about her. How smart she was, how she wanted to be a teacher someday, how hard it was being a single mom but worth it. After about 3 weeks of this, Knock invited me to get coffee after her shift one day. There was a little cafe she liked nearby. I said sure. We sat there for 2 hours just talking. She told me more about her marriage, how her husband would come home drunk, how she'd finally left him for Fern's sake. I told her more about Linda, about the garden, about feeling like my life had ended that day too. It felt good to talk to someone, really talk. Not just surface pleasantries, but actual human connection. She started showing me around Chiang Mai on her days off. The Sunday walking street market where local artists sold stuff. Doi Suthep Temple up in the mountains. Little restaurants tourists didn't know about. I'd pay for things naturally because that's just what you do. Buy her a coffee, 8 or 10 baht. Get her daughter a little toy at the market, 15 bucks. She'd protest at first, say she couldn't accept it, but I'd insist. That's how it worked back home. You do nice things for people you care about. Looking back now, I should have seen it. But at the time, it felt so natural, so normal. She wasn't asking for anything. She was just being friendly, and I was just being generous like I'd always been. Like my parents raised me to be. Around week 7, things changed. We were having coffee like usual and Knock got quiet. I could tell something was bothering her. Finally, she started crying, not loud, just tears running down her face. I asked what was wrong. She was so embarrassed, kept apologizing for bringing it up. But her daughter's school fees were due. 8,000 baht for the semester. Her mother had been sick. They'd used the money Knock had saved for medicine. She didn't know what to do. The school wouldn't let Fern attend without payment. 8,000 baht. That's like $230. Nothing to me, everything to her. And this was her kid's education we were talking about. I didn't even hesitate, told her I'd help. She refused at first, said she couldn't take my money, she'd find another way. But I insisted. Back home, if a neighbor needed help with their kid's schooling, you help them. That's just what decent people do. It's the right thing to do. She cried harder, thanked me over and over, promised she'd pay me back when she could. I told her not to worry about it. What's money for if not helping people? We went to an ATM, I took out 8,000 baht, gave it to her. She hugged me. First time we'd hugged. It felt good. Felt like I'd done something that mattered. A week later, she brought me a receipt from the school. Official-looking thing, all in Thai but with the amount clearly marked. 8,000 baht paid. And a photo of Fern sitting in class, smiling. See? She'd actually used it for what she said. This wasn't a scam. This was real. I felt validated. My instincts had been right. All those videos warning about Thai women taking advantage of foreigners, those were about bar girls and scammers. Knock had a real job, a real daughter, real problems, and I genuinely helped. After that, things felt different between us, closer. She'd bring me extra food from the kitchen, things that weren't on my bill. Always asked how my day was, seemed to really care about the answer. Made me feel seen again, made me feel like I mattered to somebody. I started looking forward to lunch every day, not just for the food, but to see her, talk to her, hear about her day, tell her about mine. She was becoming a friend, maybe more than a friend eventually, though we hadn't talked about that. She'd said she wasn't ready for another relationship after her divorce. I respected that, wasn't pushing for anything, just enjoyed the connection. For the first time since Linda died, I didn't wake up feeling empty. I had a reason to get up, get dressed, go out, someone to see, someone who cared if I showed up or not. My bank account was at about 163,000. The 200 bucks for school fees barely made a dent. I was still spending around 1,200 a month on living expenses, right where I wanted to be. Everything was going according to plan. I called my daughter that week, told her I'd met someone. A friend, I clarified, not a girlfriend. She worked at a restaurant, had a daughter, we'd been talking. My daughter sounded relieved, said she was glad I wasn't isolating myself. Made me promise to be careful, though. She'd heard stories about Western men in Thailand. I laughed it off, told her Nook wasn't like that. She was different. Had a real job, wasn't asking for money. Well, except for the school fees, but that was a one-time thing. An emergency, her daughter's education. What was I supposed to do? Say no. My daughter said okay, just be careful. I told her not to worry. I was 65 years old. I'd lived enough life to know when someone was genuine and when they weren't. Turns out I didn't know a damn thing. But that realization was still months away. Right then, sitting in that restaurant watching Knox smile at me from across the room, I felt happier than I'd been in a year. Felt like I'd made the right choice coming to Thailand. Felt like maybe, just maybe, I could build something here. A life. A purpose. Maybe even love again someday. I had no idea I'd just taken the first step down a very expensive path. Month 3, Knock asked if I wanted to meet her family. Her mother and Fern were visiting from upcountry for the weekend, staying at Knock's rented room. I said sure, I'd love to. We took a Song Tayu out to the Chiang Mai area. Her place was in a neighborhood I hadn't been to before. Narrow swa with Thai families, dogs lying in the shade, laundry hanging between buildings. She had a single room in an older building, shared bathroom down the hall. Clean but cramped. Basic. Her mother was waiting with Fern. The mother was maybe late 50s, worn down from hard work, friendly but didn't speak any English. Fern was shy, hiding behind her grandmother at first. Little girl in a pink dress, big eyes, tiny for 9 years old. We all went to a local restaurant for lunch. Nothing fancy, just a neighborhood place with plastic chairs and a tin roof. The mother ordered for everyone, pointing at things on the menu. Some tam, grilled chicken, sticky rice. I paid, of course. Meal came to maybe 400 baht, $12. Mother kept thanking me, weighing, big smiles. I tried talking to Fern, but she was too shy. Knock translated back and forth. The grandmother lived in a village outside Konkan, rice farming area, very poor. Raised Fern while Knock worked in Chiang Mai. Fern went to the local school there. It was hard being separated from her daughter, but Knock needed the restaurant job to send money home. Seeing them together made everything feel more real. This wasn't some abstract story Knock was telling me. This was her actual family. Her actual mother, who looked tired and old from working in rice fields her whole life. Her actual daughter, who needed school supplies and clothes and a future. We spent the afternoon at a park, Fern warming up to me a little, showing me her schoolwork she'd brought. Math problems, Thai writing. She was smart, you could tell. Not beamed with pride talking about her grades. That evening after I'd said goodbye and taken a Songdayu back to my place, I felt good. Like I'd been welcomed into something. Like I was becoming part of a family again, even if it wasn't mine exactly. 2 weeks later, Knock came to me crying again. Her motorcycle had broken down. Needed major repairs, something with the engine. 25,000 baht the mechanic quoted her. $700. Without the motorcycle she couldn't get to work. The restaurant was too far to walk. Buses didn't run early enough for her morning shift. She was panicking. Didn't know what to do. Couldn't afford the repair. Might lose her job. I offered to help. She refused. Too much money. Couldn't accept it. We went back and forth. Finally, I just insisted. Told her to get it fixed. I'd take care of it. She could pay me back eventually if she wanted or not. Didn't matter. What mattered was her being able to work, being able to support Fern. She took the bike to the shop. Got it fixed. Showed me the receipt afterward, all in Thai script but with 25,000 baht clearly marked. Rode the motorcycle to pick me up for coffee that weekend to prove it was running again. I felt good about it. This was helping, real helping, not charity, just being there for someone when they needed it. A pattern started developing. Every few weeks, something would happen. An emergency. Never anything she'd planned for or asked about ahead of time. Just life throwing curveballs. Month 4, her mother got sick, needed to see a specialist in Chiang Mai instead of the rural clinic. Knock brought her to a private hospital, Ram something, I forget the name. Took her mother in for tests, medications, consultation with the doctor. I met them at the hospital, saw the mother in the waiting room, looking frail and worried. Saw Knock stressed out dealing with paperwork. When the bill came, 55,000 baht, about $1,500, Knock just stood there staring at it. I paid. Right there at the hospital cashier. Watched them count out the money, got the official receipt. This wasn't some scam. I was physically there in the hospital. Saw the mother. Saw the bills. It was legitimate. Knock cried, thanked me, said she didn't know what she would have done. Her mother thanked me too through Knock translating, kept weighing and weighing. I felt like a good person, felt like this was what money was for, helping people, making a difference. Each time something happened, Knock would show proof afterward. Receipts, photos, evidence it was real. And each time, she promised to pay me back. I'd tell her not to worry about it. She'd bring me extra food from the restaurant, always ask about my day, make me feel cared about. The thing is, it never felt like she was using me. Every request came with tears, embarrassment. Apologies. She'd try to refuse my help at first. I'd have to insist. That's what made it feel different from the scam stories. She wasn't demanding money. She was desperately struggling, and I was voluntarily helping. Around month 4, she mentioned wanting to start a little business on the side. A somtam cart. See them all over Thailand, ladies selling papaya salad from pushcarts. She could work it on her days off from the restaurant, make extra money for Fern's future, maybe save for Fern to go to a better school eventually. She'd been researching it. Cart cost this much, supplies cost that much, needed permits, good location near the night bazaar or Niman. Altogether about 80,000 baht to get started. $2,200. She'd been saving but only had about half. I told her I'd invest, be her business partner. This wasn't charity, this was investment. She could pay me back from profits, build her independence, build something for herself and Fern. She hesitated, said it was too much. I insisted. We went cart shopping together, found a good used one for less than she'd budgeted, bought supplies, ingredients, got the permit sorted, set it up near the night bazaar on a busy corner. She worked the cart Thursday through Sunday, her days off from the restaurant. I'd visit sometimes, watch her make some tam, green papaya pounded with chilies and lime and fish sauce. She was good at it. Had customers, Thai people, some foreigners. She'd show me photos of busy days, send me updates, started bringing me money back. 500 baht one week, 1,000 the next, never much, but something, showing me she was serious about paying me back. I didn't track it carefully, wasn't about tracking, was about helping her build something. My spending was creeping up. Between helping Noak and my regular living costs and enjoying Chiang Mai more, I was running maybe 1,800, 2,000 a month. More than I'd planned, but still sustainable. I had the cushion. I started eating cheaper when I wasn't at Apsara. Skipped the coffee shop some days. Didn't need to go to that Western breakfast place as much. Pad Thai from a street cart was 25 baht instead of 120 at a sit-down restaurant. Could make adjustments. My bank account was declining faster than I'd expected, but I told myself it was temporary. Once Nock's cart business was established, once her mother's health stabilized, once things settled down, the emergencies would stop. I'd helped her get on her feet. That was the point. I wasn't keeping careful track of the total. Didn't want to add it up. School fees, motorcycle, hospital bills, some tam cart investment, plus all the small stuff. Coffee dates, little gifts for Fern, taxis when we went places together, dinners I'd pay for. Probably close to $12,000 over those few months. But I was still at 153,000 in the bank, still had my pension, still comfortable. Everything was fine. My daughter called and asked how things were going with my friend from the restaurant. I told her good, we were close, I'd met her family, I was helping her start a small business. My daughter got quiet on the phone. Dad, she said, please be careful with money. I told her I was being careful. She said she'd been reading about scams in Thailand. I got defensive. Told her Nock wasn't scamming me. She had a real daughter, real problems. I met her mother, been to the hospital with them. This was different. My daughter backed off. Said okay, she just worried about me. Made me promise to keep track of what I was spending. I promised. Then didn't actually do it. Because tracking it would mean acknowledging it. Would mean looking at the numbers and seeing how much I'd already given her. Would mean asking myself if this was smart. And I didn't want to ask myself that question. I wanted to believe this was real. That Nock cared about me. That I was building something here. That my kindness mattered. That I wasn't just a lonely old man being taken advantage of. She'd call me the kindest man she'd ever known. Say Linda was lucky to have me. Bring me my favorite dishes from the restaurant. Ask about my day and actually listen. Make me feel seen. Make me feel like I mattered. And when you've been invisible for as long as I have been after Linda died, when you felt useless and purposeless and alone, someone making you feel needed again is worth almost anything. That's what I told myself anyway. By month 6, I had a notebook where I'd scribbled down some of the bigger amounts. School fees, motorcycle, hospital, some tam cart. But I never added them up. Didn't want to see the total. Told myself I was helping someone I cared about build a better life. Back home, I'd spent money on what? Cable TV? Beer? Lottery tickets? Here it was, making a real difference in someone's life. That's when the requests started getting bigger. Middle of month 6, Na came to me really upset. Her cousin had been arrested. Drug possession, she said. Just a little bit of yaba, methamphetamine pills. Very common in Thailand, but the police don't care. He was in jail. The family was pooling money for bail, but they were short 90,000 baht. About $2,500. I hesitated. First time I'd really hesitated. This felt different. Not school fees or medical bills. Bail money for drugs. Nock saw me hesitate and started crying harder. Explained how it works in Thailand. Police are corrupt. You can't just leave family in jail. He'd lose his job. His wife and kids would starve. The whole family was counting on each other. This is how Thai culture works, she said. Family is everything. I told her I needed to think about it. She nodded, wiped her eyes, said she understood. But I could see the disappointment. That night, I couldn't sleep. Lay there in my apartment with the fan running, listening to dogs barking in the soy, thinking about it. 2,500 was a lot, but I'd already helped her with so much. What was one more time? And it was for her family. She'd met my family in a way, showed me hers. Families help each other. Next day I told her, okay. We went to the bank. I withdrew 90,000 baht. She took it to wherever you pay these things. I didn't go with her. Couple days later she said her cousin was out, so grateful, sending his thanks. I never met the cousin, never saw proof the same way I had with other things. But at that point I'd built up so much trust that I didn't ask for it. Looking back now, I think that's when the dynamic shifted. She knew I'd say yes. The hesitation I'd shown didn't matter. I'd still given her the money. 2 weeks later she came to me with something different, an opportunity. Her uncle owned land near Pai, up in the mountains. Beautiful area. One rai, about half an acre. He wanted to sell it, needed money fast. 500,000 baht, $14,000. But here's the thing, Knox said, eyes bright with excitement. The land was worth way more, easily double. If I invested now, we could sell it in 6 months or a year for 1 million baht. We'd split the profit. I'd make back my investment plus another 250,000 baht, $7,000 profit. She showed me photos on her phone. Gorgeous mountain views, green everywhere, little dirt road running past it. Perfect for building a house someday. Or just selling for profit like she said. I told her I couldn't own land in Thailand. I'd read about that. Foreigners can't own land, only condos. She knew that, she said. But we trust each other, right? The land would be in her name legally, but it would be ours. Partners. When we sold it, we'd split everything 50-50. She'd never cheat me. I'd helped her family so much. She could never betray me after everything I'd done. Every alarm bell in my head was ringing. This was exactly the kind of thing the YouTube videos and Facebook groups warned about. Never put property in a Thai person's name. Never invest in land you can't legally own. Never, ever, ever. But I looked at Knox sitting across from me and I thought about everything we'd been through. I'd met her mother. Met her daughter. Been to the hospital with them. She'd shown me receipts for everything. Paid me back little bits from the Sumtam card. This wasn't some bar girl I'd known for 2 weeks. This was someone I'd known for 6 months. Someone I trusted. And 14,000 to make 21,000? That would replace a lot of what I'd already given her. Would get me back to where I'd started financially. I said, okay. We went to her uncle's place in Pai the following weekend. Took a minivan, winding mountain roads, 3-hour drive. The land was real. Beautiful spot, mountain views, quiet. Her uncle was there, older Thai man, friendly, didn't speak English. We all smiled and nodded at each other. Knox showed me paperwork, all in Thai. Official-looking stamps and seals. I couldn't read a word of it. She explained what it said. Land transfer, her uncle's name to her name, price paid, everything legal. I transferred 500,000 baht to her account from mine, watched the money leave. Biggest single amount I'd ever given anyone in my life. She showed me the paperwork afterward with her name on it. Promised we'd find a buyer soon. Real estate in Pai was hot right now. Foreigners loved it. We'd make a fortune. I flew back to Chiang Mai feeling sick to my stomach, not because I didn't trust her, because I'd just put $14,000 into land I couldn't legally own in a country where I'd been living for 6 months, with a woman I'd known for half that time. Did the math that night. Couldn't avoid it anymore. School fees, motorcycle, hospital, Sumtam cart, cousin's bail, land investment, $28,500. Add in all the small stuff, the coffee dates, the meals, the gifts for Fern, taxis, the random 100 baht here and there. I'd given Knock roughly $30,000 in 6 months. My bank account was down to 136,500, started with 165. My monthly spending was running 4,700 a month average when I included helping Knock. The YouTube videos had promised 12 to 1,500. I started eating cheaper. Some tam from street carts instead of restaurants. 25 baht instead of 80. Skip my morning coffee at the cafe. Make instant at home. Stop going to the Western breakfast place entirely. Could save $300-400 a month if I was careful. But I couldn't bring myself to tell Knock I needed to stop helping. Because what if her mother got sick again? What if Fern needed something for school? What if the motorcycle broke down again? I started noticing things I'd been ignoring. Her phone was always face down on the table when we were together. If it buzzed, she'd flip it over, glance at it, put it back down without showing me. When I'd ask about where exactly she lived, she was vague. Near Chang Phuit Gate, she'd say, but never invited me over again after that first time meeting her family. Said her room was too small, too embarrassing, she'd rather meet at nice places. The Sumtam cart had disappeared. Business was slow, she said. Sold the cart, gave me 10,000 baht back as partial return on my investment. I'd put in 80,000, she gave back 10. But hey, at least it was something. When I'd asked to visit Fern again, there was always a reason. Grandmother took her to the temple, school event, sick with a cold. Maybe next month. The land in Pai, I'd asked about potential buyers. She'd say the market was slow right now. End of rainy season, nobody buying. But definitely by next month she'd have someone interested. I joined some expat Facebook groups, started reading posts, saw stories that sounded familiar. Guy gives money to girlfriend's family, never sees it again. Guy invests in business with Thai partner. Business fails. Money gone. Guy buys land in Thai girlfriend's name, she disappears. I'd read these posts and feel sick. Then I'd tell myself my situation was different. Those guys met bar girls, got scammed by obvious cons. Noak worked a real job, had shown me real receipts, introduced me to real family. Those other guys were stupid. Fell for obvious tricks. I was smarter than that, wasn't I? Started having trouble sleeping. 3, 4 in the morning, lying awake, fan whirring, adding up numbers in my head. $30,000. My new truck back home had cost $22. My first house had cost $60. $30,000 was real money. But what could I do? Ask for it back? Confront her? What if I was wrong? What if this was all legitimate and I was just being paranoid like my daughter had been? Saw other foreigners at coffee shops with their Thai girlfriends. Young girls, old men. Same dynamic I'd told myself I wasn't part of. But watching them, I started seeing similarities. The girl on her phone while the guy talked. The guy paying for everything. The girl perking up when money was mentioned. I looked away. Didn't want to see it. Knock started being less available. She was busy, she said. Mother still recovering from the hospital visit, needed help. Restaurant was short-staffed. She was working extra shifts. The card had sold, but she was looking into maybe starting a clothing business instead. Was that something I'd be interested in investing in? I told her I needed to be careful with money for a while. She said okay, she understood. But I could feel the distance growing. Month 7, everything changed. But I'm getting ahead of myself again. For those weeks after the land investment, I was walking around Chiang Mai in a fog, going through the motions. Morning walk, coffee at home now, lunch at cheaper places, avoiding Apsara kitchen some days because seeing Nok made my stomach hurt. I convinced myself I was helping someone, building something, being a good person. But late at night, alone in that apartment, I'd wonder if I'd just been the easiest mark in Chiang Mai. A lonely old man with money and a dead wife and a need to feel useful again. Wondered if that's all I'd ever been to her. Didn't want to find out the answer. Month 7 brought another emergency. Nok's mother needed surgery. Serious gallbladder problem. Couldn't wait. 120,000 baht. $3,300. I was sitting in my apartment when she called. Could hear the panic in her voice. Her mother was in pain. The doctors said it was urgent. They needed the money for the operation or they couldn't do it. Family was trying to help, but nobody had that kind of money. My bank account was at 133,000. This would take me down to 129,700, less than 80% of what I'd started with. I told her I needed to think about it. The silence on the other end of the line was cold. Then, I thought you cared about me and my family. I tried to explain. I'd helped a lot already. Needed to be careful with my money. Had to make sure I had enough for myself long term. She said okay. Said she understood. But her voice had changed. The warmth was gone. She apologized for bothering me. Said she'd figure something out. Hung up. I felt like shit. Sat there staring at my phone. Her mother might actually need surgery. Might actually be in pain. And I was sitting here worried about my bank balance like some cheap bastard. Next morning I messaged her. Said I could do 3,000, not the full amount, but something to help. She said thank you. No crying, no excessive gratitude. Just thank you. I'll tell my family. I transferred the money. She sent back a short message. Got it. Thank you, that was it. After that, everything changed. Not became less available. Said she was busy with her mother's recovery. Couldn't meet for coffee as often. When I'd message her, she'd respond hours later. 1 or 2 word answers. When we did meet, she seemed distracted. Her phone would buzz constantly. She'd glance at it, sometimes smile, put it back down face first. Wouldn't tell me who was messaging. I tried to close the distance. Bought clothes for Fern, $80 worth. She said thank you, put them in her bag, didn't bring them up again. Took her to a nice dinner at an Italian place on Niman, $65. She picked at her food, seemed bored. I was confused, hurt. Had I done something wrong? Was it because I'd hesitated on the surgery money? Should I have just given her the full amount? Started wondering if she found someone else. Another foreigner with more money. Someone who didn't hesitate when she needed help. Week later, I was sitting at my usual coffee shop near Niman. Place called Graf Cafe, good iced Americanos, quiet in the afternoons. I was on my phone, scrolling through those expat groups, reading more stories that made my stomach turn. A man approached my table. English accent, late 50s maybe, gray hair, fit-looking, friendly face but serious eyes. Mind if I sit? I've seen you around with Nook. Need to tell you something, mate. I got defensive immediately. Who was this guy? What did he know about my business? But he sat down anyway, said his name was Graham, been in Thailand 6 years, lived in Chiang Mai full time. I hate to be the one to tell you this, he said, but I've been where you are. Nok worked me the same way 2 years ago. I told him he was mistaken. Nok wasn't working me, we were friends. I was helping her family through hard times. He nodded, like he'd heard this before. Then he laid it out. He'd met Nok at Apsara Kitchen, same restaurant. She'd been friendly, they'd talked, she'd told him about her daughter. School fees came up, then the motorcycle. Then her mother got sick. He gave her about 8,000 pounds over 4 months, close to 10,000 US dollars. Then a Thai friend of his saw them together and pulled him aside, warned him. Nok was known in the expat community. She worked multiple foreigners at the same time. Had a rotation, the daughter was real, but the mother had full custody. The ex-husband wasn't absent, he paid child support, they were just divorced. Everything she showed was real enough to seem legitimate but exaggerated for sympathy. Graham pulled out his phone, showed me screenshots from a private expat Facebook group. There was Nok's photo with a warning post. Beware this woman, works at Apsara Kitchen, multiple reports of financial scams, uses daughter and sick mother as leverage. 3 other guys in the comments sharing similar stories. Different amounts, same pattern. My world tilted. I wanted to dismiss it. Jealous ex, mistaken identity. But Graham wasn't angry, wasn't bitter, just matter-of-fact and sad. She's good at it, mate, he said. Picks the kind ones. The lonely ones, makes them feel needed. You're not stupid, you're human, but you need to cut it off now before it gets worse. He paid for his coffee and left. Gave me his number if I wanted to talk more. I sat there for an hour, couldn't move, just staring at nothing, watching tuk-tuks go by on the street, hearing the cafe music without really hearing it. That evening, I went through everything with new eyes. The receipts she'd shown me, all in Thai. Could be from anything, could be fake. I couldn't read them. The land in Pai, I had no proof she actually owned it. Had no way to verify the paperwork, the hospital visit with her mother. That could have been real but exaggerated. Minor illness turned into major bills. The Somtam cart that disappeared. The cousin who needed bail that I never met. The phone always face down, never inviting me to her place again. Fern always too busy to see me. The land that never had any buyers. Each thing by itself looked explainable. All of them together looked like a pattern. I messaged her online. We need to talk. About the money I've given you, and the land. She read it immediately, blue check marks, but didn't respond. 6 hours later, what you want to talk about? I always honest with you. I suggested we meet at Apsara. She said okay. Next afternoon we sat at the same table where we'd sat dozens of times, but this time felt different. I wasn't Mr. Clyde anymore. I was just another foreigner. I kept my voice calm, asked her how much I'd actually given her total. She said she didn't know exactly. We'd never kept track. Why did it matter? I asked about the land paperwork, asked to see it again. She said it was at her uncle's house in Pai. I asked when we could visit together to check on it, meet with potential buyers. She said she'd have to check her schedule. I asked if I could see Fern this weekend. She said Fern was with her grandmother. Then I mentioned Graham. Said another foreigner had warned me about her. Her face changed. The sweetness I'd known for 6 months just evaporated, like watching a mask fall off. You believe Farang man over me, after everything? Her voice was cold. Hard. You cheap Charlie. Give money, then want it back. Other men give more, never complain. I show you receipts, you still don't believe. This is your problem, not mine. She stood up. I sat there stunned. You want land back? You want money back? Good luck, land in my name. You give me gift, you have no proof of anything. She walked out. Just left me sitting there in Apsara Kitchen where this had all started. I sat there for maybe 20 minutes. The owner lady came over, the one who'd been kind to me from the beginning. She looked sad, put her hand on my shoulder, didn't say anything, just knew. That night Not blocked my number, blocked me online, disappeared completely. I lay in bed staring at the ceiling fan, listening to the sounds of Chiang Mai at night, motorbikes, dogs, distant music from somewhere. Same sounds I'd been hearing for 7 months, but everything felt different now. The loneliest thing wasn't losing the money. It was realizing I'd never mattered at all. That every conversation, every smile, every moment I thought we were connecting, she was just working, doing her job. And I'd been the easiest mark in Chiang Mai. A lonely old bus driver from West Virginia who missed his dead wife so much he'd pay $31,000 just to feel needed again. The days after Nok disappeared were the worst since Linda died. I sat in my apartment doing the math I'd been avoiding for months. Got out that notebook, added everything up, school fees, motorcycle, hospital bills, cousin's bail, the land. some tam cart, surgery money, then all the small stuff, dinners, coffee, gifts for Fern, taxis, phone credit, random 100 baht here and there, $31,000. In 8 months, my bank account showed 134,000 remaining. Started with 165 down, nearly 20% of everything I had, gone. But worse than the money was the shame. I'd come to Thailand telling myself I was different from those other guys in the YouTube videos. I could spot a scam because I'd lived 65 years, raised a family, knew people. My small-town instincts would protect me. Trust your neighbors, help people in need, take people at their word. Those were good values back home. Turned out those same values made me the easiest mark in Chiang Mai. I forced myself to call Graham, thank him. Ask how to move forward. He met me at that same coffee shop, bought me an iced coffee, told me his story, how it took him months to stop feeling stupid, how he'd beat himself up every day until a Thai friend helped him understand. The clever ones like Knock, he said. They're not villains in some moral story. They're professionals, working a system that pays better than factory work or rice farming. You come here with more money than most Thais see in years. From her perspective, redistributing some of that wealth to her family isn't evil. It's survival. Didn't make it right, didn't mean I should excuse it. But understanding the economics helped remove some of the personal sting. Graham invited me to an expat meetup, Thursday nights at a bar off Niman. Bunch of guys, most of them older, most of them with similar stories. The Australian who built his girlfriend's family a house, $45,000. Found out she had a Thai boyfriend the whole time. House went to him. The German who invested in a bar with his Thai partner, $60,000. Partner disappeared with the money and the business. The American who paid for his girlfriend's brother's medical emergencies. 5 times. 15,000 total. Brother didn't exist. Every story had the same structure. Loneliness meeting opportunity. Kindness weaponized. Trust exploited. Sitting there listening to them, I realized something about that video title, the question it asked. The different types of bad foreigners. Thai women avoid. Are you one of them? The categories everyone thinks about. The angry drunk. The sex tourist, the criminal, the broke deadbeat, the abuser. I wasn't any of those. But I'd become a different kind of bad foreigner. The lonely ATM, the mark of mistakes transaction for connection, who's so desperate to matter again that he'll pay anything for the feeling of being needed. And Thai women who are genuinely looking for partners, they avoid guys like me, not because they're cruel, but because guys like me aren't actually available for a real relationship. We're too wounded, too vulnerable. Too ready to confuse financial support with love. We bring our grief and our loneliness and our checkbook. And we mistake someone's professional friendness for genuine connection. Been 9 months in Thailand now, still in Chiang Mai. Moving would feel like admitting defeat. Budget strict, $1,200 a month, all in, no exceptions. Pension covers most of it. The 134,000 has to last. Made some real friends with other expats. Guys who've been through similar things. We look out for each other now. Started going to meditation sessions at Wat Suan Dok. Helps quiet the mind. The monks don't judge. Just teach you to breathe and let go. Volunteer teaching English to kids at a local school once a week, unpaid. And I watch my boundaries carefully. No money changes hands. No emergencies get solved. Just teaching. Haven't dated. Not ready to risk it. Maybe someday. But not until I've rebuilt myself into someone who doesn't need to be needed quite so desperately. The land in Pai is gone. I accept that. Knock is gone. The $31,000 is gone. But I'm still here. Still have 134,000 and my pension. Still have time to build something real if I'm smarter and more careful. The grief over Linda hasn't disappeared, but it's less sharp now. Thailand didn't heal me like I'd hoped. But it did teach me something about myself. My kindness isn't a weakness, unless I let desperate people exploit it. Being generous is good. Being a mark is not the same thing. I came here thinking the bad foreigners were the loud ones, the drunk ones, the ones who treat Thai people like servants or worse. And those men do exist, and they are bad. But I learned I could be a bad foreigner in a different way, by being so desperate for connection that I turned myself into a wallet with legs. The women who are looking for real partners, they can smell that desperation. It marks you. And the women who are looking for income, they can smell it too. Same desperation, different outcome. I don't blame Knock anymore. She was surviving, doing what she needed to do for her family in a system where foreigners have money and locals need it. But I do blame myself for forgetting that kindness without boundaries is just an invitation to be used. If you're thinking about coming to Thailand, or if you're already here, learn from my mistake. Thailand can be wonderful. The people can be genuinely kind. Real connections can happen. But Thailand won't fix what's broken inside you. Come here whole, or at least healed enough to know your own boundaries. because kindness is a beautiful thing, until it becomes currency. That was Clyde's story, and while the details vary, the pattern repeats across Thailand every day. Men come here carrying grief, divorce, retirement, escape, and that weight makes them vulnerable in ways they don't recognize. The video title asks, "Are you one of the bad foreigners Thai women avoid?" The categories aren't always obvious. The dangerous foreigner isn't always the aggressive one or the sex tourist. Sometimes it's the genuinely kind man who's so lonely he'll mistake professional friendliness for love, so desperate to help that he can't see when he's being helped straight to bankruptcy. Clyde is still in Chiang Mai, building a quieter life, older and significantly poorer but maybe a little wiser. His advice to new arrivals: Thailand can be wonderful, but it won't fix what's broken inside you. Come here whole, or at least healed enough to know your own boundaries, because kindness is a beautiful thing until it becomes currency. Thanks for watching. This is Thailand. If Clyde's story helped you avoid similar mistakes, or if you've been through something similar and found your way forward, share your thoughts in the comments below. See you in the next one.